All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to have a conversation with Heather Callahan here in just a moment with Fluxx Funding and talk a little bit about rent versus own and the real estate markets as well. Before we do, we always like to feature our real estate properties live on air and give a shout out to one of our sponsors here for the program, Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company here in Tampa Bay. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Heights Soft Wash, Ramin Kazami, longtime friend of the program. Check them out online, heightssoftwash.com. Pressure wash your driveways, your fences, and real estate, of course, commercial or residential properties. Heightssoftwash.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. And we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air. It's a strategy that we employ to help sellers maximize the exposure and the profit on the sale of their real estate properties. 605 South Linda Street in Tampa. This is a South Tampa property. You got a large lot here. Some people have been saying 6504 South Linda Street in South Tampa. This is over a quarter acre of land. Some people have been saying, hey, we might be able to put another parcel or build another structure there. So you'd have to check with zoning on that, of course. But 6504 South Linda Street in Tampa, 1,900 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, over a quarter acre of land, updated kitchen and bath, motivated seller, willing to put some money towards closing costs as well to help buy down the rate. Also, got a property listing in the Carolinas. We got a North Carolina listing that's a co-listing with Bill DeVore, 530 Heaton Forest Road. Bill DeVore's real estate group up in Tampa, or up in the Carolinas, that is. This is a $9 million listing, 11 bedrooms, 10 bath, 10,000 square foot property here, 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina. Compliments of KW Professionals and Keller Williams Luxury Division with Bill DeVore. Welcome to your luxurious oasis in High Hampton. This property is designed by McDonald and Brunton. Exceptional estate boasts a main residence of 7 spacious bedrooms, 7 lavish bathrooms, complemented by a separate guest house that also features 4 bedrooms and 3 stylish bathrooms. Great opportunity at 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
And yeah, I'm racing my class to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, Heather Callahan, welcome into the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. So you're filling in for Robert.
I am filling in for Robert. I think he's teaching a CE class today, so I'm the pinch hitter.
There you go. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your history as a loan officer and Fluxx Funding and what you've been up to lately.
Sure. I think I need to note NMLS
1597939. All right. Good deal. We're legal now.
All right. Well, actually, I've worked with Robert for about 15 years in the finance and banking, and I've worked with him at Fluxx Funding for just under 2 years now. But we've worked as a team for quite a while. So awesome. I guess I'm his you're up.
There you go.
Backup
quarterback. The backup QB,
exactly.
Right?
I am that one.
There you go. Awesome. So what are you seeing out there? The market's shifting. It's a challenging time for a lot of people. You got, I think the numbers are something like 90% of Americans have less than a 6% interest rate. So at this point, you have a situation where a lot of people are saying, hey, they're kind of married to their rate, right? They have this great rate on this property. I'd like to live closer to the beach or maybe move closer to the grandkids, but I don't want to give up this low rate. What are you seeing out there?
I am seeing exactly that. What we look at, I'm going to get all tongue-tied here. I have so many words going through my mouth, in my brain, that we're going to get it going at the same time. Anyway, what we are seeing is, yes, people are locked into their lower rates because, it kind of hurts your heart to go from a 4% loan to a 6 or 7% loan.
Yep.
What we have also been able to do as a solution to that is if there's enough equity in the home, we can get a HELOC for a down payment on another residence.
There you go.
And use that as leverage as a 20% down and doing the DSCR loan. So you're only getting a portion of it, and you're still maintaining your primary residence at your lower rate. So that is one solution that we've been able to do.
What would be awesome too is maybe keep that property as a rental. So here's a real estate agent telling you don't sell, right?
Right, don't sell. Don't sell.
It makes sense. Look, I don't give commission-based advice. I know there's a lot of folks out there that do different industries. You see it all over the place, and that's one reason I started this show over 10 years ago. But think about that, especially if you're a veteran. Let's say you bought that home at 100% financing. You got a great rate on it. Why would you sell? In a sense, if you can, and there's risks that come with that. There's tolerances of when you are that landlord, what's it the three T's, right? Tenants, toilets, termites, right? So you have overflowing toilets in the middle of the night or whatever it might be. You get those calls, or of course you can have a property manager to do that. But in a sense, that makes a lot of sense. You pull out a home equity line and you're able to take that 20%, get a down payment, and that 20% is going to get you a better rate category than it would at a 90% or 90 higher price point.
Correct.
Or down payment point.
Or even that income property.
Yeah.
And actually, that's what my husband and I recently did. We had a HELOC on our house to put a down payment on another home so that we have more income properties.
I love it.
So it's leverage.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, because you hit on a point there.
Leverage everything you can.
The rents are high. We just talked about in a previous segment where the rents are going up. It's funny because when I started the show back in 2013, there was a Harvard study that came out back then talking about the rents are rising. And of course, they've continued to rise. And here we are where a lot of people, this affordability factor is a key element where people, especially for, let's just say paramedics, for example, people in that category working hard, going out there, but the affordability factor is not there. But one thing we do know is that with rents, you're not building up equity, you're not building that long term, but as a homeowner, you are. So talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing in that space.
Sure. Again, fear factor. If you've always been a renter, it's hard to, let go of that, secure in your mind piece of rent and move forward with something that may be a little bit higher in payment, but not by much, and you're building that equity.
Yeah.
And again, you don't know if you qualify until you apply, and that's another thing that holds people back. I don't think I'll qualify, blah,
right.
blah, blah. But you don't know unless you apply. It's not as difficult as you think to get a mortgage, especially if you have, your debt to income ratio working for you. There's plenty of down payment assistance programs. As a matter of fact, Hometown Heroes just got, another money injection,
Yep.
which will help a lot. I work with a lot of police, fire, military.
Yep.
VA loans, FHA loans, and that's very, very helpful, especially now that,
the down payments.
Yes,
Well,
the
well,
down
that's-
payment needs, because, police, fire, military, they're not knocking it out of the park with their incomes, so
Right.
they need that help.
Yeah, because I think that's probably a top misnomer, right? I mean, I want to ask you that question. What are some of the common questions that you get, some of the common misnomers? I think a lot of times it's like, oh, well, I got to have 20% down, or I need all of this money down, but really you don't.
Really, you do not. And again, there's the FHA program. You get 3.5% down. You come up with that, you're good to go. It has a very, very low, barrier to entry, the
Yep.
580 credit score, and again, there's assistance programs that will help you with that 3.5%. Same thing with the VA loan, 100%, no down payment required. So where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
There are programs out there.
And you can also get seller concessions. So if you get real creative, you can have seller concessions coming in, or you can also have realtors sometimes. If you have, realtor friends or whatever, the realtors can rebate dollars back to the closing cost. But there's a lot of ways to get creative. So I would say, at least reach out, and you can also go to applywithheatherc.com, apply with WITH heatherc.com. And that's where, you can get in touch with her as well. ConsumerQB.com as well. You can see Robert's contact there as well. But Fluxx Funding here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to talk to you about the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors put out a tweet here. I guess this was a LinkedIn post. The economy is weakening. Businesses are slowing the leasing activity in retail, industrial, warehouse spaces. The office usage is being formally cut back with negative net absorption, that is. Informal, underutilized office spaces remain high, and that is those spaces not in the market. So it's an interesting situation where commercial is now, we've seen kind of the trend, and I think it continued from when we had this virus come from China. It came overseas, and then you had a lot of lockdowns. So you had this situation where you've got people working from home.
A lot of people working from home now. As a matter of fact, productivity is actually higher with people working from home. But on the other side of that, there's that emotional bond you're not getting with going into the office.
Right.
However, it does leave a lot of retail space open.
Yep.
And so I think you're going to see a lot of rents go down on the commercial side, but not on the not on the consumer side, not on the retail side.
Yeah, for consumers, they're struggling. So let's do this. Let's offer a rent versus own analysis. It's been a little while since we did this. What we'll do is if you text the word rent to our hotline, just text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to 727-263-3707. Just simply text rent and the amount of rent that you're paying. Could be $1,400, $2,200. Rent to 727-263-3707. What we'll do is we'll put together a rent versus own analysis. So you can say, hey, here's what I'm renting on one side of the spreadsheet, and then on this side we could put together a mortgage option or a couple different options for you that says here's the amount that you would be paying with a new mortgage. And the idea too is it may not be a now thing; it might be a 6-month thing or even a year down the road. But this is an idea to get you started on that road to home ownership, potentially if you don't. And then, of course, if you're an investor, now you know you've got opportunities there. So reach out to the hotline, 727-263-3707. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back more with Heather Callahan, filling in for Robert Paredes here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fluxx Funding, apply with heatherc.com. So stay with us. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at brandonRhymes1 on Instagram, at CQB Show on Instagram as well. And check out our YouTube channel and podcast. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon, run! Knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who shares your values. They offer the very best nationwide coverage on 4G and 5G LTE networks and exceptional 100% US-based customer support. Patriot Mobile offers discounts for veterans and first responders, NRA members, and families with multiple lines. Learn more at patriotmobile.com/consumer QB. That's patriotmobile.com/consumer QB. Or if you'd like to give us a call, you can reach out at 727-263-3707. That's 727-263-3707. And we'd be happy to tell you more about Patriot Mobile. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. You can reach me at 727-263-3707. Call or text 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, we're back here in studio. I want to let you know about a company that I love living on the lake. It's Weed Busters. Weed Busters, they do a great job. They clean out your areas. If you live on a lake or canal, a river, a stream, the weedbustersfl.com. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. They've got these huge machines that come in and clean up all the different weeds that are growing so quickly. Of course, in this Florida summer, they grow a lot faster, but they help it where you help your dock space where you can access, and weedbustersfl.com. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here for this segment. We love to feature our real estate listings live on air. It's a strategy that we employ to help sellers sell faster for more money here in Tampa Bay for our real estate listings. 861 Mandalay Avenue. This is on Clearwater Beach. I love this property. So if you have you ever wanted to own your own beach property, maybe a second home, maybe a vacation, 861 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater Beach. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. This is a $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. There's a really cool patio area out back where you've got a bar and a TV set up, open kitchen, lighter color scheme, so I love that. And, of course, a lot of updates and upgrades throughout the home. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 861 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater Beach, charming pergola, 900 square foot screened-in patio. And the best part is your 200 steps from the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of Clearwater Beach right here in Florida. All right, another listing from the team here is 5146 Marine Parkway. This is a commercial listing. We do, of course, vacant land, commercial properties, residential properties as well. 5146 Marine Parkway, commercial listing here from the Platinum MVP team. This is in Newport Richey. You're about 1,000 feet from US 19, so that's going to bring 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day passing by on 19. And you got a large, exceptional storefront here with a beautiful space, large inviting windows, invite that natural light in, open and versatile floor plan, so it could be tailored to fit any type of business. The pool and spa business is for sale, but it could be any type of use for this business. Public transport hubs, major roadways, close proximity, neighborhood mix of locals, and, of course, tourists as well. And you got new condo project being built across the street. So 5146 Marine Parkway, Newport Richey. Another one of our hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team, PlatinumCoastalElite.com. PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, so we got Heather Callahan in the house, Fluxx Funding, talking about mortgages and real estate, and we have investor loans. So we got investor loans on the topic. You also have a golf tournament coming up as well.
We do. We have the President's Cup, sponsored by Tampa Club and Fluxx Funding.
Okay.
And the proceeds will go to the Post 9/11 Veterans Organization, which is a local organization that keeps the funds local for our veterans.
Post 9/11.
Post 9/11 veterans.
Wow, that's a great cause. You know, there's the veterans are, man, you know, we're sending all these dollars over Ukraine, and we've got veterans here at home that are struggling. We've got 40,000 homeless veterans, and so I'm glad to hear about that. So tell me about this golf tournament. Where, when, and where?
Well, let me tell you, it is October 9th, and it is...
It's a good time of year to be golfing, by the way.
It is a good time of year
October
for golfing.
9th, it's going to be a nice breeze. It's going to be a good time and supporting a good cause. Post 9/11 veterans.
Yep, October 9th.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, so we got a golf tournament coming up. Jenny had a golf tournament too, GTAR golf tournament as well.
Tis the time, right?
So get out there and golf.
That's
This
right.
is the time of year.
Yeah. What I really appreciate about this one is that it does keep the funds local.
Yeah.
And, you know, nobody that works for Post 9/11 takes an income. It's a 100% volunteer organization.
Yeah, that's a big point. You know, when you are giving away charitable dollars, you got to research and figure out where the dollars are going. A lot of the nonprofits, and I think there's a score. I forgot what the scoring agency is called, but you should look that up. Do a search for that because there's certain nonprofits that will have the CEO making over $1 million or a couple $1 million, whatever that might be, and then people are giving money, hoping it goes to in this case the veterans. Yeah. But a lot of it goes.
I always call it street level. You want everybody on street level to get that money, and they only, that trickle down dollars. They don't always get it put where it needs to. Yeah,
that's a good point. I like that term. So talk to me about that. Oh, so we have condos too. I want to hit on condos because that's a major. We had Surfside accident happen. The collapse last year, maybe a year or two ago now, 2 years now. But there's a lot of stuff happening in the condo space. Tell me about that.
They are under extreme scrutiny, which they should be because, we live in Florida. We have hurricanes. We have sinkholes,
Yep.
We need to make sure that the engineering where people live is solid. And so now these condos, especially locally, are getting really big assessments because they aren't necessarily meeting the engineering and they need the reinforcement. One thing that Fluxx Funding is doing with some of the folks that are getting hit with these outrageous assessments is actually refinancing. They might own their condos 100% outright. They thought they were going to retire, debt free, and now they have an assessment for $200,000. Well, that's a big hit, and
wow.
If you have that in your portfolio, you don't necessarily want to write a check for that.
Yeah.
So, refinancing or doing a home equity line of credit is a way that we've helped people cover these, unpredictable assessments that they're coming up with now. It's,
didn't plan on that. So you have
did not.
so these different condo associations. They'll have $250,000 that need to be paid, or is being assessed, and it's more so particularly on older properties. And I forgot the year. We were talking about it between break. I forgot what year it might be, but let's just say it's 1979 or whatever year it might be. That now, so you have $250,000 that's going to be broken up between, depending on the size of the HOA now, the condo association rather. Maybe there's 50 units, maybe there's 300 units. So that's going to be proportional to their income and to their
unit.
Their payment, to their unit.
Right. There is actually, I think Bayfront Towers in St. Pete, their assessment is going to be potentially in upwards of $150,000 per unit.
Wow.
So it's a hefty hit.
Whoa. Yeah. Got to be careful. So a lot of people shy away from condos for these reasons and other reasons,
I know. You think it's the good life. I don't have to mow my lawn. It's just super simple. I get to come home. I get to go away. Everything's taken care of. And then, boom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a challenging time. And but you got the pool, you got the golf courses, you got these different, so there's pros and cons. You got to weigh that out, talk to your mortgage advisor, talk to your realtor, make sure, there was a story talking about condos too, that reminds me of, I heard about this story about 8 years ago. Like, sometimes you'll have different HOAs with multiple communities in there. And I remember hearing a story about a realtor that said, oh, yeah, you can use this pool over here. There's another pool over here. No. You can use this pool.
Right.
Or sometimes I think
yeah.
in one sense there was like she actually oversold and there was no pools at all, but they assumed, and they closed, and they assumed that they had access to a pool that they didn't. So when it comes to HOAs, when it comes to these large properties and multiple homeowners associations, condo associations, these different underlayments, you've got to really be careful, do your due diligence, and make sure that you're working with a competent loan officer and realtor on those files. We have Heather Callahan in studio, Fluxx Funding, apply with heatherc.com. And we're talking about real estate market, and again, the rents are increasing this was an interesting stat. I want to say it, 1985 to 2023, the national median rent price rose over 150%, while overall income grew just 35%. Yeah. That trend, that's an amazing trend that's happening. And, that's why I think, again, people need to be applying for mortgages. Even with the higher rates, you can always buy the rate down. Talk to me about buy downs. Are people doing that?
Actually, we do have some folks that are doing the 2-1 buy downs, especially now that there's a little bit of, easing on the affordability of homes. 2-1 buy down.
Yep.
What that is you as an example, if your loan is 7%, you can have a price that buys down that loan by 2% in the first year and 1% in the second year, and it could save you, maybe up to $300, $400, or $500 a month on your payment for the first couple of years that you have that. It's also used as a buyer incentive. So if you're a seller and you want to get rid of that home quickly, and you find somebody that's a great prospect, but just need that extra added value, then you can do a 2-1 buy down.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. Right now the market is it's an interesting market because you have low inventory. You have around a 78-80% absorption rate, and you have 1.2 or so months supply of inventory. And it's really interesting too because Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, they all mimic each other. They're all within a couple percentage points of each other. And so on one hand, you have low inventory still because I think, of course, a lot of blue states to red state migration, people moving from out of state, they're coming down for the sunshine, etc. But then on the flip side, you also have a smaller buyer pool because of what we aforementioned about the rates and things happening there. Mm-hmm. So
rates and buyerability. Mm-hmm.
Where do you want people to connect with you? The best web, go to applywithheatherc.com.
Applywithheatherc.com. They can send me an email at heather@fluxx, Fluxx funding.com.
All right. Good stuff.
727-482-3313.
Reach out. Applywithheatherc.com. Yep. And thank you for coming in.
Hey, I
Good
appreciate
stuff. My pleasure. Me. Absolutely. Well, hey, another great show. Jenny Restrepo, Heather Callahan on the program today. I want to thank our audience out there for tuning into the show, our producers, everybody behind the scenes making the show happen. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, do something kind for one another, be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next.